I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of torn. So I was thinking of just doing so stand after he speaks. So stand up and ding here.
Oh, yeah.
Let your, but then I was going to end with Lord, and maybe just do that a cappella after.
If you want.
But it would be in C.
Mhm.
Or
Well, they're
maybe
both in-
end it a cappella.
well,
Just
they're
look
both
at
in
me.
C,
Yeah.
Which works out great.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. So I would start with measure 50.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Well, actually, you could start in
46.
really easy.
Yeah.
And then build it again.
Yeah. What do you think? Good? introducing it.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. If everybody could find a seat so we can begin. It's always wonderful to come together for Shabbat and greet each other. You're going to have a moment to do that. If we could everybody find a place where you feel comfortable. And now that you're seated, if you would all please rise. So what I'd like you to do, the cantor's going to lead us in a nigun, that's song without words. And I'd like you to look around, see somebody you haven't greeted, maybe someone you don't know, go over to them and wish them Shabbat Shalom. Greet everybody.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la la.
In your Shabbat Vayinafash brochure, if you'd open it up, there's a middle page. And at the top of the middle page, it has the song we're about to sing, which is based on Hine Matov U'Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, how good and pleasant it is that we're all together. But it also has another part in English, so if you would look at that and join with the cantor.
Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. That's the beginning. How good it is that we're all together. Let's try that once more. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Now, Lord, prepare me. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. And with thanksgiving, help me a living sanctuary. For Hine matov, Hine matov umanayim shevet achim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
We open up our Siddurim, our prayer books now, and prepare for Shabbat. Turn to page 2. We're blessed with a bat mitzvah and bar mitzvah. On the tomorrow morning, I'm going to ask Ivy and Max and their families to join us up here and help us by lighting the Shabbat candles and leading us in the Kiddush. Max, Ivy, families, come on up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
And we turn now to page 4 as we prepare for the Kiddush with the introduction. Page 4. And there was evening, and there was morning the sixth day. Right here. Now we're going to.
The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
And now we turn to Max and Ivy, who are going to lead us as we begin the Kiddush. It's on page 5. Have a little Kiddush wine there. We're drinking it vicariously through you, so thank you for sampling for us. So we continue now on page 16 with the Kabbalat Shabbat, the welcoming of the Sabbath, with Zamru Ladonai Bechinor. We join together.
Zamru Ladonai, Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Yai lai lai lai, Yai lai 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 lai, Lai 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 lai.
We turn now to pages 20 and 21 as we welcome the Shabbat bride, the Sabbath bride with Lecha Dodi. We'll be doing verses 1 and 2 and then 5. And when we get to verse 9, it's our tradition that those who can stand and face the entrance as if we're visualizing the Shabbat entering our sanctuary and our lives as a Sabbath bride.
Yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrad kala, yalla la 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 penei Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabe, yalla la 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 lecha dodi, yalla la 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 likrad kala. Yalla la 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 penei Shabbat nekavela Shabor v'zachor v'ribor echad Ki hishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai L'Shemu Tiferet v'lithilah Yalla la la lecha dodi Yalla la 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 likrad kala Yalla la 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 penei Shabbat nekavela Likrat Shabbat lechol v'necha Ki mikor ha'bracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'mlacha Shabbat techila Yalla la la lecha dodi Yalla la 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 likrad kala Yalla la 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 penei Shabbat nekavela Hitoreri Kiva oreh kuli ori Shir daveri Kevod Adonai alayich nigla Yalla la la lecha dodi Yalla la 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 likrad kala Yalla la 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 penei Shabbat nekavela Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'b'tzola Tochem uneh am segula Boi chalav Boi chalav
our sanctuary and our lives. We turn to page 28 as we formally begin the Baruch, the worship.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. La 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Nevaeh Le'olam Nevaeh Ya la 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 Ya la la la
We continue on pages 34 and 35 with the Shema.
Almost since the beginning of the Jewish tradition, the Shema has been considered the most important statement of a Jew's belief in God. It was spoken daily in the prayers at the temple, and the rabbis included it in the morning and evening services of the synagogue. The Shema is taken from the Torah. When we say the Shema, we affirm that just as God is one, so are all human beings united in one family. We recite the Shema together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai
Please be seated.
In the Torah, the sentence of the Shema is followed by the paragraph that begins with the words, "You shall love your eternal God." When we say these words, we remind ourselves that the love of God is achieved when we all use powers for goodness, to do the right thing, and for the benefit of others. Please join in the chanting of the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'elai asher anohi metzavecha hayom al yavecha Veshinantam levanecha vedivarta bam beshivtecha v'techa uvlechtecha baderech uvshokbecha uvkumecha uvtartam leot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וטפתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Well, Ivy and Max, you guys have just been bar and bat mitzvahed. No, I'm sorry. Tomorrow. But we're so excited for both of you. And you can take your stuff and take a seat as the rest of us turn to page 40 and join together in the singing of Mi Chamocha. We give thanks not only for shelter and for a lack of snow that our northern neighbors are getting, but also for the shelter and the love of our families and of one another tonight in this congregation. We join together.
And right on the facing page on 41 on 43, the English interpretation. Let there be love and understanding. We'll start with that part. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, Leshalom.
46, we come together for Hat Tefillah, the Amidah. In a moment, we'll rise as one congregation, and we'll join together in these important words.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Neihem L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Atarav Lehoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid Haga Hashem Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim Sohomech Noflim Ve'rofei Cholim U'Matir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot U'Midom Elach Melech Meimid U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'nemanat Hachayot HaKol Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Kadosh Shimcha Kadosh U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yalalu Chasela Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. On this Mitzvah Day weekend, we take extra time for our silent meditation. So much to pray for, so much to be grateful for, so much good that we are going to hopefully do in our community, and so much that we won't even know has been changed and affected by our hands and our hearts. So we close our prayer books now, and I invite you to close your eyes and to open your hearts and your minds to the words that only you can speak as we take a few moments for silent meditation.
Traditional prayer is important, but as the late Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel described his experience when marching with Dr. King and Selma, we must take these sacred words that we utter in this sanctuary into the world and pray with our feet. Please refer to your order of service and join me in this beautiful piece by Julie Silver. You'll start to catch on, especially at the end. A part of a collection of music recently released by the Religious Action Center in Washington, D.C. Bring what you can bring and be a sanctuary. When one of us is suffering, we all feel a pain. When one of us is stumbling, we fall again and again. All of us are slaves until all of us are free. Everyone needs sanctuary. When some of us go hungry, all of us can't eat. When words don't mean enough to us, we pray with our feet. We pray for the dreamers who pray for you and me. We can be their sanctuary. So let us set a table wide and long, where everyone has plenty and everyone belongs, where everyone agrees to disagree. Underneath this canopy, I will be a shelter, open on all sides. I will take you in and stand by your side, no matter where you come from or where you'd rather be. I will be your sanctuary. Where everyone agrees to disagree. Underneath this canopy. So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring and be a sanctuary. So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring and be a sanctuary. So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring and be a sanctuary. Once more time. So stand up and sing. Let your voices ring. Bring what you can bring and be a sanctuary.
If you didn't feel it before, you feel the power of it now. This is quite a weekend, quite a Shabbat to be together. We turn our thoughts to those who are in need of healing, those in our families, those in this room, Those of us who think all the time that alone maybe we can't do anything, but together we can do alone and together. And this week, as we think of the following names, we pray together on their behalf. This week, we think of Gail Ossip, George Lublin, Donald Krasner, Jason Albert, Lenny Hecht, Robert Glazier, Morty Walsh, Bill Meadow, Betty Baranek, Marty Baranek, Chana Fuchs, Shifra Fega Bat Rachel, David Siegel, Judith Ryder Cornelison, Alyssa Benray, Narissa Balland, Jacqueline Walk, Muriel Dubrow, Steve Backenheimer, Chavalea Bat Hadassah, Bracha Bat Michael Visara, Marta Leva, Esther Bat Schendel, Helen Wagner, Sylvia Cohen, Danny Jonas, Eileen Uti, Mort Singerman, Helen Merwitzer, Johanna Stone, Katina Balland, Elaine Kurlander, Steve Ehrenberg, Tal Yehuda Yadkovic, Albert Ma, Marilyn Sheffman, Bernard Finn, Dwayne Searles, Rose Ortiz, Barry Harris, Raymond Tavares, Grace Kolroff, Susan Baum, Randy Aronson, Shirley Aronson, Natalie Davis, Barbara Pecor, Laurent Gevert, Adi Affect, Louis Levitsky, Sylvia Levitsky, Norman Litz, Donnie Kaufman, Bertha Wadnicki, Eva Rudner, Alex Farber, David Taman, Taylor Rudy Side, Gary Danton, Paitlin McMorris, and the Keys family. I invite you to stand at this time if you're thinking of anyone or if I mispronounced your loved one's name as we join in a moment on page 253 for the words of Misha Beirach. Thank you. Thank you. Gary. Karen. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Phyllis. Thank you.
Nicole Yablon, Bradley Berkman, Teresa Pinelli.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you. Thank you, Max. Thank you. Darwin. Darwin. Thank you. We join together.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will sow in tears, will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
I now invite up any young people in the congregation. I'm going to define young how I want. So we're going to say below B'nai Mitzvah age to please come up on the beam. I'd like to invite Ivy and her family and Max and your family to please come forward as we sing Havenu Shalom Aleichem and prepare for the Aleinu.
Heveinu Shalom Alechem.
Please rise.
Shalom Alechem. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Heveinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Heveinu Shalom Alechem. Heveinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem.
We remain standing and turn to page 282 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tein gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo 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 echad.
You may be seated. We turn now to page 294 in our prayer books, and we think about all of those who help to make us into the people who we are and who we carry with us every moment, even though they may no longer be physically present. And so at this time, we think about those who have died in the last 30 days, whose families remain in the shloshim of their mourning. We remember Robert Magoon, Terry Bast, Larry Barr, Daphne Selig, Stanford Kane, Adam Goldstein, Arnold Shevlin, Judith Hirsch, Harold Rosen, Ellie Siegel, Shirley Morris, Stephen Charnas, Marlene Goodman, Gertrude Beal, and Harry Smith. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. We think as well of all those whose yahrzeits are observed on this Shabbat and whose names have been lovingly inscribed in our alcove of remembrance. We think of Harold Aronson, Muriel Aronson, Philip Augustine, Samson Avedon, Saul Bleemer, Herbert Blumberg, Rose Carroll, Aaron Cohen, Jack Dolberg, Janice Farber, Isaac Foreman, Simon Frankel, Edith Gertner, Sylvia Goldfisher, Dora Gottlieb, Joseph Gould, Esther Hecht, Joshua Kogan, Alexander Cushman, Sanford Levine, Philip Matus, Aaron Newman, Evelyn Parness, Manuel Riskin, Esther Shapiro, Francis Shapiro, Ina Shinkman, David Silvers, Irving Slonim, Elsie Spiesman, Jack Wagner, and Dorothy Zell. And remember all those other yahrzeits that are observed on this Shabbat. We think of Molly Bergman, Hugo Blau, Morris Bloom, Barbara Brooks, Emil Feldman, Jean Fishkin, Fritz Gerber, Dorothy Grant, Alan Greenfield, Louis Haas, Magda Kalman, Samuel Cassell, Albert Kessler, Rose Lazoff, Lee Lehner, Esther Levy, Mordechai Lugener, Adela Meisner, Alan Meyerhoff, Abraham Molman, Samuel Nash, Paula Rabinowitz, Eliyahu Reiner, Mildred Robbins, Carlos Rossello, Miriam Shore, Abraham Schulman, Mark Siegel, William Sinrich, Rose Srednick, Herman Stein, Ralph Trorig, Marjorie Warren, Eve Weinroth, and Bluma Weissman. If there's anybody in our congregation this evening that's observing a yahrzeit or is in a period of mourning, and I didn't call that name, I invite you to please rise at this time to share that name with our congregation. Jonathan? So I invite you all to please rise as we think about the 6 million men, women, and children who perished in the Shoah, the thousands of Israeli soldiers who died so that we might have a Jewish homeland. And we think as well about our American soldiers who have died here and overseas defending our liberties. We take them all into our hearts with our own, and we thank God for their lives as we praise God with the words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon v'yomachon uv'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'izman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, and all people everywhere. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. And I'll invite up the president of our congregation, Karen Revo, to greet everybody and make a few announcements. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Let's do that one more time. Shabbat shalom. Great. So first I want to say Mazal Tov to Ivy and your family. What time do you want your guests to be here tomorrow morning for your 10 o'clock? So congratulations. And to Max, who has a Minha celebration, what time do you want your guests to be here, Max? 4:15, okay, and so congratulations to both families. I also want to, I know we will have a special program. I want to welcome Desmond Meade to our congregation as well. And also Rabbi Michael Zedek, who is with us from Chicago. So where are Rachel? And I want to give a very special thank you in advance to our Mitzvah Day chairs, Rachel Samick and Karen Musafi, who I know are somewhere here. So this is indeed our weekend when we pray with our feet. Mitzvah weekend has arrived. This is number 23. And tonight we will begin this weekend, and then Sunday is when we go out and we indeed give our loving kindness to our community. In the afternoon, you can return and be a part of this amazing soup experience. And the proceeds from sampling all these great soups will go to Rise Up this year, Rise Up Ventures. Next weekend, next Friday night, we will be honoring the Jewish Disability Awareness Month. And we will have guest speakers, members of our congregation, Natalie Davis and Brittany Adler, who will be speaking to us, and that should be really interesting. Also, I don't know if the Blausteins are here, but the Blausteins are sponsoring an amazing weekend in a few weeks. We are bringing in a very, very well-known Israeli writer, Edgar Carrot, and he will be with us the entire weekend. It is complimentary, thanks to the Blausteins. I ask you, though, to please sign up online so we know we have a head count. And finally, Purim is only a few weeks away, and we are going to be doing Greece. grease, schmaltz. Can you sing a line of this? No. What? They have to come. Okay, so Greece Purim celebration is on February 28th, and it's all in your program. So Shabbat Shalom, and again, Mazal Tov to our families.
Thank you, Karen. This is indeed our 23rd Mitzvah Day weekend, and I do just want to make one quick announcement, which is that if you have not yet registered for Mitzvah Day, registration is closed, but walk-in registration is welcome. So if you haven't yet registered, please come anyway, give blood, be a part of a lot that will be happening here on Sunday. So this year, as most of you well know, our social justice network chose to embrace the theme of racial justice through criminal justice reform. And we pledged to collect 1,000 signed petitions to restore voting rights to former felons. Well, I'm pleased to tell you we collected 1,050, so we exceeded our own expectations, and that as a state, over 1 million petitions were collected, 799,000 were verified, and so this constitutional amendment will appear on our ballot in November of 2018. Yes. And this statewide campaign has been largely orchestrated and inspired by the gentleman who we welcome to our pulpit tonight, Desmond Meade. Desmond will tell you his story himself, but he is a formerly homeless man who overcame countless obstacles to become the current state director of the Florida Live Free campaign, president of the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition, chair of Floridians for a Fair Democracy, and a graduate of Florida International University College of Law. So what do you do in your spare time, Desmond? The book of Proverbs teaches that the mark of a righteous person is someone who falls down 7 times and gets up each time. How privileged we are to have this righteous man with us this evening, to share his story with us and teach us not only about resiliency, but about justice. It is such an honor to welcome you, Desmond. Please come up and join us.
Good evening. I'm going to try this. Shabbat Shalom. Did I get it? Did I get it right? Well, you didn't respond, though. Shabbat Shalom. No, it is extremely a humbling and honor, a humbling experience and an honor to even be invited into this sacred space. And so I thank you all. I thank Madam President. I thank Rabbi Pomerantz for inviting me. You know, there was a time, and I have to tell this story before I start. You know, when I was going to middle school in Aurora, Illinois, and I was playing football, and at the time, you know, my dad was a preacher, and on Friday nights we had youth services. And when I told him that I wanted to play football, he told me it's okay, I can practice and I can play just as long as I don't miss youth services on Friday night. And as it happens that most of the games that we were playing was on Friday night. And I was, you know, a little embarrassed to tell my team, you know, why I kept not showing up on Friday nights. And I was trying to, what is a good reason? And for some reason I came up with No, I told him that, listen, my family is Jewish, and on Friday, and thank God for Sammy Davis Jr., because, that was a plausible reason. And so that was my first connection with the community. But in August of 2005, I was living, if you want to call it living, in South Florida. And I found myself standing in front of railroad tracks on 22nd Avenue and about 21st, 22nd Street. And that day as I stood there, I was a broken man. At that time I was homeless, I was addicted to drugs, I was recently released from prison, unemployed, didn't own anything but the clothes on my back. And as I stood there, I knew that my parents didn't raise me to be in that position. But there I was that day, and I had no hope. And in spite of the impressive, oppressive humidity and heat that we all know occurs in August days, I was actually able to block that out for a few moments, because at the time that I stood there, the only thing that was going through my mind was how much pain I was going to feel when I jumped in front of the oncoming train. And I stood there waiting, and as I was waiting, I'm thinking, man, if this train hits me, am I going to die instantly, or do I have to go through moments of agonizing pain? And even the thought of the pain that I may have to go through was not enough to move me, and I stood there waiting. And I waited. But the train never came. And I crossed those tracks, and I ended up walking a couple blocks further, and I checked myself into a drug treatment facility, and I was there for 4 months, and after successfully completing it, I moved into a homeless shelter. Some of you might have heard of Chapman Partnership. And so I moved in there, and then while I was there, I decided that I really wanted to do something to break that vicious cycle of drug abuse. Because I was going through those moments where drugs would take me to a low in my life, and I would stop, and my life would start to improve, and something would happen, and I would end up using drugs again and going to an even lower place. And I was tired. I was just tired. I did not want to go back to those railroad tracks. And so I decided to, and maybe if I could enroll in school and get an education, maybe that would help at least raise the level of my self-esteem so I don't have to return to those tracks. And I enrolled at Miami-Dade College in the paralegal program. I ended up doing exceptionally well. I ended up, I believe, graduating at the top of my class. And I was encouraged to continue my education. And so I pursued a bachelor's degree in public safety management with a concentration in criminal justice. Now, I figured since I had a lot of experience getting arrested and a lot of experience appearing before judges, that I could take some of that experience into the classroom, and maybe it would help me be successful. And it did. It worked. I ended up graduating with highest honors again. And eventually, I was accepted into a couple of law schools, but I chose to attend FIU College of Law. And in May of 2014, I did graduate with my Juris Doctorate degree. But I tell people that my story does not have a happy ending, because in spite of the many obstacles I've been able to overcome in life, in spite of the fact that I've dedicated my life to giving back to my community, because I live in the state of Florida, I can't even practice law because my civil rights have not been restored. See, I'm counted among the over 1.68 million Floridians. Of them, 1.5 million have completed their sentence and served their time, but yet they face a lifetime ban from voting, among other things. Not only can I not vote, I can't apply to the Florida bar, and because my civil rights have not been restored, I also face collateral consequences, such as being unable to buy the home that I would love for my family, for my beautiful wife and 5 kids, because of a lot of HOAs or homeowners associations have written within their bylaws provisions that will restrict me from owning or even renting a house. I don't know how you all feel about that, but I'm going to tell you, my heart like really jumped with joy when I heard the first couple words of the last song that we sang. When it said, when one of us is stumbling, we fall again and again. All of us are slaves until all of us are free. I want to just share with you what happened after I crossed those tracks, because I think it's extremely important for this moment here in this beautiful place of a gathering place of worship. Immediately after I crossed those tracks, I asked myself a question. I said, Desmond, if the train would have killed you, how many people would come to your funeral? And the immediate answer was 0. And I didn't like that, and so I changed the facts around and said, okay, Desmond, you were killed by the train, and the Miami Herald have your picture on the front page, top of the fold, Desmond killed by train. Now, how many people would come? And after thinking long and hard, I could only come up with 4 people. And out of those 4, maybe 2 would have shed a tear. And I had to ask myself, what have I been doing with my life? Have my life been that insignificant? What have I been doing with this time on this earth? And I took those questions with me as I entered into drug treatment. And as it happens, maybe a few weeks later, Rosa Parks passed away. And I remember they had her body laying in state in the rotunda of the Capitol. And I was sitting down in a room by myself one day, and I was looking at the television, and I seen the people from all walks of life that was walking past her casket, paying their last respects. And the one thing that I noticed more than anything was that almost every single one had a tear in their eye. And I don't know what hit me, but I jumped out of that chair and I started screaming at the television. I was like, that's it. That's it. That's what I want. And my mind just started racing, and I started planning my funeral. And the first thing I wanted to know was, where was I going to have this funeral? And the best place that I came up with was Joe Robbie Stadium. Well, at the time, I don't know, they changed his name so much. One time it's pro-life, but I knew that that's where I wanted my funeral. Wherever the Dolphins played, my funeral was going to be there. And I wanted people on the field, standing room only, not a dry eye in the building. And so when I figured out the venue, the next step was thinking about what type of person could command that type of audience. And I came up with 2. You're either going to be an athlete or a movie star. And, you know, my knees were bad. I did play football at Miami Edison, but I kind of figured I was a little too old, even though the Dolphins probably still could have used me back then. And so I quickly ruled that out, and I said, okay, well, maybe a movie star. Now, you know, when I thought about a movie star, I thought about Denzel Washington. Now, I can tell you, my wife, and this is what my wife say, not me, but my wife says that I'm not a bad-looking guy, right? But I didn't think that I was Denzel Washington type of handsome. I tell people today, thank God I didn't think of Forrest Whitaker, because I know I could have him beat, and I could probably beat Wesley Snipes too, as long as I keep my shirt on. But at the time, I only thought of Denzel Washington, so I was disappointed again because I can't be a movie star. But my mind immediately went back to Rosa Parks, and I remembered that she did something that had a positive impact that we feel up to today. And I figured that if I can take all of that pain and that suffering and that low self-esteem that led me to the railroad tracks, I could package it in such a way to where I can help someone else so they don't have to go to the railroad tracks and they can help others. And I knew that Joe Robbie Stadium held a lot of people, so I had a lot of work to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know where to start, but I knew that I had to do something, and I had to use my life as a way of transforming others. And it was a few weeks later when someone told me, we were in a meeting, and they told me that it was something that I said in that meeting that caused them to have a paradigm shift, that caused them to have a different way of looking at life. And when that person told me that, something erupted inside of me that I had never felt before. This evening, I can tell you that it was a joy that I never knew existed. And it was also a joy that I've been searching for all of my life and didn't even know I was searching for it. It was my purpose. Because it was at that moment that I started looking at everything that God had created. And I seen that it took a little and it gave a little. It took a little and it gave a little. And I finally understood that no matter what my position was in life, no matter where I stood, economically, socially, financially, or whatever, that there were always going to be someone that was worse off than me. That I always had something to offer to make someone else's life just a little bit better. And I understood that I did not need the big crowd at the stadium, because all of that pain and suffering that I went through became worthwhile when I impacted just one life. Everything else was icing on the cake. And I guess you guys can tell I love cake. And so I dove into giving back. I'm telling this story for a reason, because I'm going to bring it home in a second. In the process of me dedicating my life to public service, a very good friend of mine lost his son through gun violence, and I attended his funeral service at a temple in North Miami Beach. And I remember the rabbi was talking about how in the Middle East that there were two bodies of water. And he talked about the Dead Sea, and he talked about the Sea of Galilee. And he talked about how the Sea of Galilee was vibrant and full of life. And he talked about how the Dead Sea was void, right, and dead. And he said that both of these bodies of water received their nutrients from the same source. And he asked the audience a question: how could it be that these two bodies of water that receive their nutrients from the same source be so drastically different? One vibrant and full of life, the other one void. And his answer was a very simple answer. You see, the Sea of Galilee had tributaries. So every blessings it received from above, it passed on to others. And it created its own filtration system. It kept it lively, while the Dead Sea was self-enclosed. So every nutrient it received, every blessing it received, it held on to it for itself, to a point where it became oversaturated and it killed itself from within. See, that story became the guiding principle of every single thing I've done since then. Knowing that as long as I'm giving, as long as I am waking up every morning, figuring out what can I do to improve my society, to improve my community, to improve my state and my country, that I'm going to be all right and my life is going to be vibrant and full of love. I knew that. And that was the energy that helped drive me on this mission to restore the ability to vote to over 1.68 million Floridians. Because I know that this will not only make their lives better, it'll make all of our lives better. And so I want to close because I want to go back to this. It says, when one of us is stumbling, we fall again and again. All of us are slaves until all of us are free. And this reminds me of a saying that most, if not all of us, have said at some point while living here in the United States. And that saying goes a little like this: I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. And the six most important words: with liberty and justice for all. And if all of us don't have that, then none of us can. Thank you.
So I heard Desmond's story a couple of years ago, and I took it with me. Because when somebody shares their story with you, it changes you forever. And I hope that each one of you will hold on to this story and take it with you when you vote in November, and share this story with everybody you know so that we can help to bring liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Desmond. I'm going to ask everybody to rise as we continue to sing the words of this song that Cantor Siegel shared with us, the song that Desmond was so moved by.
So stand up and sing, let your voices ring, bring what you can bring, and be a sanctuary. So stand up and sing, let your voices ring, bring what you can bring, and be a sanctuary. So stand up and sing, let your voices ring, bring what you can bring, and be a sanctuary. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Shabbat Shalom. Happy Mitzvah Day weekend.
show you. It's going to be right here. We put them right here underneath here because you speak from here. We pull them right out.
sanctuary, you know that, right?
Oh, I forgot.
Okay, it's okay, whatever.
They're going to be right on the table.
Okay, Lisa's going first.
Yeah,
so, okay.
yeah, I forgot.